Imagine waking up deep in the night with your chest tightening painfully. Your throat feels parched, and your lungs spasm violently as if an invisible hand is extracting the very life force from your room. You bolt upright in a panic, gasping for air, but the atmosphere is thin and heavy with dust, barely enough to sustain your trembling body. Through the blur of oxygen deprivation, you see a red light pulsing from the meter on your wall. It is not a fire alarm, nor is it a security warning. It signals something far more terrifying. The display reads, "Insufficient funds. Your oxygen subscription has expired. Welcome to the year 2050. This is not science fiction, but the cold reality of an economy where the last free resource of humanity has been officially listed on the stock exchange. In this world, the empty well wishes of health from the past have vanished, replaced by the calculating glances at the meter around one's neck to estimate how many hours of life remain. Clean air, once taken for granted like the morning sun, has transformed into a luxury commodity, packaged, branded, and distributed by colossal energy corporations. Today, we embark on a terrifying yet economically logical thought experiment. We will dissect exactly what happens when the ruthless laws of supply and demand are applied to your very breath. We will analyze how human society functions when every rise and fall of your chest comes with an invoice. Does the elite breathe a different air than the working class? And what is the true dollar value of a single day of existence? Take a deep breath while you still can, because after this video, you may never look at the sky in the same way again. Once the basic necessity of life is monetized, the market inevitably segregates. We are no longer defined by our jobs or our homes, but by the quality of the air that fills our lungs. In this hyper-capitalist dystopia, major corporations like Omni Air or Pure Breath have categorized survival into three distinct subscription tiers. At the bottom of the societal pyramid is the standard tier, also known as the survival package. For a significant portion of their monthly income, the working class receives air that is filtered just enough to prevent immediate asphyxiation. It is stale, metallic in taste, and contains only the bare minimum oxygen concentration required to keep a human brain conscious. Workers on this tier are perpetually fatigued, moving slowly through their days with a dull headache that never truly goes away. Their productivity is capped by their biology, and their dreams are suffocated by the very air they pay for. Ascend the economic ladder, and you find the premium tier. This is the air of the middle class and professionals. Enriched with optimal nitrogen balances and scented with synthetic lavender or pine, this air promises focus and vitality. You pay extra not just to live, but to perform. The marketing slogans are seductive: breathe better, work harder. It is a cynical loop where you buy better air to have the energy to work more hours just to afford the air that lets you work. But true luxury resides at the apex. The elite tier is not merely about purity, it is about enhancement. The ultra-wealthy do not just breathe, they consume a proprietary blend of hyper-oxygenated air infused with mood-stabilizing neurogases and anti-aging particles. While the poor gasp for survival, the rich are literally high on their own supply, experiencing a clarity of thought and physical vigor that is chemically impossible for the rest of the population. The gap between the rich and the poor is no longer just financial, it is biological. But where there is a monopoly on survival, there is inevitably a black market. Driven underground by exorbitant prices, a shadow economy has emerged in the forgotten corners of the megacities. We call them oxygen pirates, or breath hackers. These are the desperate engineers of the slums who build illegal filtration systems using stolen industrial parts and automotive scraps. In the damp basements of the poor districts, you can find illegal algae farms glowing with a sickly green hue, cultivating unauthorized oxygen to sell at a fraction of the corporate price. It is dangerous work. One wrong chemical mixture in a homemade filter can burn your lungs instantly, or fill a room with silent, odorless carbon monoxide. Yet for millions who cannot afford the corporate rates, this dirty, unregulated air is the only alternative to suffocation. To combat this revenue loss, the corporations have deployed the Breath Enforcement Agency. These are not just police officers, they are repo men for your biological functions. Equipped with thermal scanners and atmospheric sensors, they patrol the residential blocks hunting for unregistered oxygen signatures. The punishment for bypassing the smart meter is swift and brutal. They do not arrest you, they simply remotely throttle your airflow. Imagine the terror of your smart collar tightening, receiving a digital command from headquarters, restricting your intake to 50% capacity. It is a calculated suffocation designed to panic you into payment, a physical reminder of who truly owns the atmosphere. The war on drugs of the past has been replaced by the war on air, and the collateral damage is measured in human lives that simply stopped breathing. As we conclude this journey into a suffocating future, you might be telling yourself that this is impossible. You might think humanity would never allow the very essence of life to be privatized. But pause for a moment and look at the bottle of water on your desk. A century ago, the idea of paying for water was considered absurd, a joke among our ancestors who drank freely from rivers and public fountains. Yet today we pay billions for plastic bottles filled with the same liquid because we were taught to fear the tap. We were conditioned to believe that purity comes with a price tag. The transition from free water to paid water did not happen overnight with guns and soldiers. It happened slowly through marketing, through pollution, and through our own complacency. The scariest part of the world I just described is not the oxygen police or the suffocating slums. The scariest part is how quickly we would get used to it. A child born in 2050 would not look up at the gray sky and feel anger. They would look at their breathing meter and feel gratitude that they can afford another day. They would view free air not as a right, but as a dirty danger, something to be filtered out. We are remarkably adaptable creatures, and that is our greatest weakness. We can normalize any horror if it is introduced gradually enough. So tonight, before you go to sleep, take a moment to really feel the air filling your lungs. Feel your chest rise and fall without a meter counting down, without a credit card transaction pending. It is the only thing you truly own that is still free. But for how long? The infrastructure for this future is already being built in the smoke of our factories and the carbon in our atmosphere. The bill for our negligence is coming due, and when it arrives, the currency will not be dollars or gold. It will be every single breath you take. If you had to choose between living freely in toxic air or serving a corporation for pure oxygen, what would you choose? Tell me your decision in the comments below. If you want to see more glimpses into the future of our economy, make sure to subscribe to the Speculative Ledger. I am your narrator, and remember, in this world, nothing is truly free, not even the air you breathe.